All right, GM, everybody, welcome. We're having a llama party, and in this case, this is going to be typical of most of my parties. There's no particular guest of honor, so it's just me holding down the llama fort here. Got a lot to talk about. A ton happened in Curve over the past, I believe it's been 2 weeks since we got to host one of these parties. Last time it was really fun. If you haven't gotten a chance yet, I definitely recommend checking that out. The great Naga King joined. Naga King, at the time, was experiencing some snow, so he had nothing but time to sit around and chat. Well, today it's nothing but snow for me, so I've got as much time as I would need to chat about whatever you might want to talk about. So hopefully we get some people joining the actual llama party. As we had Tenzent popping in for just a second. I will hold off for a second to make sure that the audio is actually working on YouTube before I start diving into things. But just in case, Kaizen says excited to wait 62 minutes, and YouTube don't exactly know what that means. Wait 62 minutes for I don't know what. Um, Tenzent, welcome.
Hello, sir. I got a bit confused. I was like, oh my god, this is doesn't sound like the right place I should be at.
I mean, it's a CD crowd if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
No, you found it. This is the llama party, and I'm trying to get a sense of if I'm actually because last week we had some audio issues. Do you have a any way of seeing like checking the YouTube stream if audio is coming through there?
Yeah. I was watching it on YouTube.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Excellent, excellent. So, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up. I've got a ton to talk about. Like when as I was writing today's article, I realized there was like a million things that were happening around the Curviverse. So I was talking a lot about like the situation going on with Tether again getting imbalanced in three pool, and then a ton of activity going through the three pool to try and correct it. But I'm kind of curious, Tenzin, anything you'd like to talk about?
Oh well, I mean, I'm from Silo Finance, so as you mentioned, that's I came on to check
Excellent. Let's talk about
everything
Silo
out.
Finance then, because that is pretty cool. I've been following Silo for, it was back in March that I kind of wrote up like a medium depth article about Silo, given everything that you were doing with the X. Well, at that time it wasn't called XAI. You just started acquiring Convex, and it was clear that you're going to use it to some interesting cause. And now it's live, so congratulations.
Yeah, it's awesome, and we don't have to spend all of these emissions on bribes because we have this huge stack of Votelock CVX. So it's been great. We also have a huge amount of like seed liquidity that we're going to be moving to Convex, and so we're going to be farming a lot of rewards for the treasury, which is great.
Nice.
But
That's
yeah,
super cool to hear. And
but
Chaicho GZ, welcome.
Hello.
welcome.
Obviously, Chaicho, you were around with us last week, but for those of you who are just joining, hanging out, what's your background?
Uh, Not much, just IT consulting for banks, transitioning to hopefully DeFi eventually. And
Yeah, I've been fighting with using banks recently, and it's not fun. I have to admit. I don't think it's your fault. It's just trying to send small amounts of money through banks ends up requiring me to like go to the branch multiple times. Meanwhile, like I can zap any amount of money through DeFi, and it's like magic. So I hope banks get together. Otherwise, you're going to be obsolete now. The job.
yep.
All right, so let's talk a bit
Oh
about
yeah,
silo finance because I think this is one of the kind of cooler things that have come out lately. Um, Now, Tencent, I'm somewhat familiar with the backstory of Silo, but since you're here and you probably have a lot more like knowledge of it, would you tell us a bit about the backstory of Silo?
yeah, sure. So I mean, Silo Finance, we've been around. We're fairly new. So 2021, kind of, we came out and we won ETH Global. The general concept was all of our markets or lending markets are completely risk isolated. So the general concept is you'll have one lending market for every asset. So, for example, you have Curve, and then you pair it with Ethereum and our stablecoin Zai. And so Curve is able to borrow any of those assets, and any of those assets is able to borrow Curve within the pool. And so since every pool has like a common bridge asset, what we call, you can deposit Curve, borrow Zai, and you can deposit that Zai into a completely different market and borrow something else, right? And then you don't have this risk of contagion. And it's been sort of a topic at hand because of what happened with Aave, and the phrasing's obviously not good. But you know, Aave obviously great protocol, but our markets are specially tailored more or less for the long tail and for creating these smaller markets.
Yeah, and I recall,
Yeah, that.
correct me if I'm mistaken, but back in like March or so, there was like kind of like a contest, or I don't know if you want to call it a contest, but you were asking users to kind of say which silos you'd like to be amongst that kind of launch set. And I remember, I think Curve got in there, and there were like a few other common like assets. Is that still the case that you're like went to market with like 8 or so launch assets?
Yeah, so we launched with the beta assets. We had around 10. Now we're launching every week a few more and more. So we are planning to list within this first round around 57 new ones, which
Oh,
is
wow.
a lot. Yeah. But yeah, so we launched with the community's choices, and among them was Convex and Curve. Um, Kind of like the premier assets. Our community is very much like the Convex community, so
Yeah.
we have a lot of overlap there.
There's only like 10 people in all of DeFi, so there's always going to be some overlap, right?
Yeah, yeah. Some projects I feel like I see like the same three people working across like 7 different projects.
Doesn't seem scalable, but you know that's how you have to do it in the bear market. So, which of these
Yeah,
assets, or which of these silos, should I say, have kind of proven like the most popular so far?
the most popular has actually been CB ETH. There's
Hmm.
no CB ETH market on the market, but so we kind of had like first go at it as soon as the Chainlink Oracle came up. We added it right up, and so now it's doing really well. If you actually deposit ETH into the CB ETH market, you can earn something like 5%, which is actually bigger than the actual staking rewards on CB ETH. Um, so yeah, that's been doing really well. People obviously this curve kind of changed the gamma fee and that whole thing. So we had some users that were kind of arbitraging that, and so that they looks like they've made a decent amount of money there by
Yeah,
arbing the rates, which is good.
CBE continues to be like wild to me because it seems like you know, as far as I can tell, Coinbase, amongst centralized exchanges, has been doing a very good job. They, you know, launched this CBE. They launched all this kind of like liquidity pools and did everything kind of the right way. Of course, there's some concern about the fact that it's censorable, but to my knowledge, they haven't been censoring anyone just yet on it. So it really just has been kind of trading completely randomly, like below peg here and there. And since I've been following it, like a lot of people have been able to jump in there and you know maintain its peg. So it's just so wild to me that this keeps happening. It's like free money on the table.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's been the case for a lot of different ops that like that in the past. So Silo's really gonna be looking to open up markets where there are none. Already we have some also. You know, we've been going kind of treasury to treasury, kind of asking for some seed liquidity. So we got Aura and Balancer on board, and
Nice.
they seeded liquidity with their treasury, and both of them are earning very high yields on because they're just very highly desirable assets to borrow. So yeah,
Absolutely, that's great.
and
That's,
at the same time, if you have any of the assets, right, and there's Zai in the pool, you can also just deposit, borrow Zai and LP in the convex pool. I believe we have something like 35 to 40% APY on stablecoins right now. So yeah, there I am.
yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a, if not you, a close twin.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Now you've been launching this in like about the worst possible market for it. So the fact that you're getting this amount of product market fit in this kind of like thunder bear market is really impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, what has been really big for us is we've been reaching out on people on DBank,
Mm-hmm.
messaging them through profiles on DBank, and like the more cryptic things like Leinster, like you can message them there. You get a lot more responses, especially from like really large whales, which has been cool to see. So a lot of even our small LPs, you'll see like they're actually huge whales, which is it's an awesome service that DBank has kind of created there.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Shoot, I would like to show people a demo, but unfortunately, like I'm super doxed as it is. But here's a bit of a location dox. I'm here in the U.S., so I'm not able to use Silo Finance. Um,
You
that's
just
sad.
got in, yeah.
um, but even though I can't use it, that's fine. We can peruse it. Talk a bit about the name XAI. Was this kind of a play on die?
Yes, it's absolutely a play on Die. On way, same inspiration as them, right? Which is Way Die. Who created the B money. Um, what do you call white paper, yellow paper? Which one it was?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's the idea, and the X is sort of symbolic of the fact that you kind of go between silos. There's not one big shared pool. Every pool is independent to itself. So that's more or less the idea there.
Got it. I'm diving in here to specifically this. Shoot, this Coinbase ETH pool here.
And you'll see right there, like there is less available to borrow than there is deposited. That's actually because we have two types of deposits. So you can deposit just regularly, but you can like you would in Aave, right? And your assets can be borrowed out.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the option to deposit what's called protected, and so protected collateral can't be borrowed out by other users. You don't earn yield on it, but you can take out a loan without being sort of exposed to the market risk of someone exploiting or economically attacking something.
Nice, nice. Now, what was it? It was like initially like the whole CB ETH arbitrage was brought to my attention by our friend Crypto Condom, and
Yes, yes,
uh,
yeah. We
and Crypto Condom was also talking about an interesting strategy, which I'll bring up on screen here, for how to arbitrage the over collateralized stablecoin farming pool between Curve and Silo. Do you want to talk a bit about Crypto Condom's wisdom here? Not financial advice, of
yeah.
course.
So not financial advice. The APR has gone down, obviously, because we've had some coverage from people, so there's a lot more people aping in. And it's still quite large, but essentially, Xi is hard coded to one in the system, which means essentially if you deposit USDC and you borrow Xi, USDC has to lose peg for you to actually be liquidated. So you can deposit USDC, borrow Xi, and put it straight into the Curve pool, and then you just withdraw full Xi when you want to exit. And you can earn upwards of 40% APY on your stable coins right now.
Not bad. Eat your heart out, U.S. Treasury bills.
Yeah. And you can actually go a step further too, right? You could, like for example, in CBETH, you could deposit ETH there, earn something like 5%, 5 to 6%, I believe, and then also borrow Xi with it and earn that 40% on top of it. So it's a good op if you're holding Ethereum or stable coins for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm dumb. I put my ETH into a personal validator node, which is earning like a paltry 3%, and we've had like a lot of power outages here, so it's even lower than that. So I'm like in the bottom 98th percentile of ETH earning. So I've severely left curving this one, but oh well,
It's all
so it
right.
goes.
You'll get it back someday.
Yeah, it's still been a fun experience. So it is what it is. Excellent, excellent. Anything else that you want to add about Silo Finance or just like general DeFi stuff before we look at some of the other kind of stories you've been following?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of unique use cases. For example, we have a large amount of DYDX. If anyone is interested in shorting DYDX, you can certainly provide Xi and short DYDX that way. We've got a lot of cryptic assets. You can borrow Aura and put it in somewhere like Badger to earn massive yields without being exposed to the price of it. Same thing with Balancer. Same thing with Convex. We do have some Convex that people can borrow out too. Um, and yeah, we're working on getting liquidity for basically all of the assets that have been frozen lately. So we were trying to establish a market there. But yeah.
Awesome, that's great stuff. Well, definitely make sure you keep us informed about this. Like, you're sort of LARPing as our guest of honor since we didn't have one. Naga King, who came last time, had nominated Fiddy, but I believe Fiddy's in like the most rural parts of. Yeah, I don't know if he wants his location doxed or if he said this publicly, but he doesn't have good internet where he is right now. So he's not been able to join us, which means that like you get to serve as guest of honor. So maybe you can help us also nominate someone to come next time and serve as guest of honor for future llama parties.
Yeah, yeah. Man, let me think. Just nominate anyone?
Yeah, it could be anyone. Naga King first actually nominated Avi Eisen, who didn't reply to us, so we asked him to come up with someone who might reply. But yeah, feel free to shoot for the moon. Maybe we can get like some big name on here or something.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to hear Crypto Condom at some point, or
Yeah, I've
what is his name?
I've chatted with Crypto Condom. I think it's unlikely to say the least.
Unlikely. Gotcha. Yeah.
Would be a fascinating conversation, no doubt, but I think it'd be tough. How has Crypto Condom's kind of role in the silo bin lately? Because Crypto Condom, of course, is one of the smartest people I've had the privilege of interacting with.
Yeah, yeah. We speak to Crypto Condom all the time. Is very, very insightful. Has a ton of knowledge. So I mean, I've literally been following Crypto Condom since like before I was part of Silo. So
Yeah, if there's
very
anything
happy to be talking
bullish,
to him.
any reason to be bullish Silo, continued Crypto Condom involvement would be a big one.
Yeah, and also we just barely mentioned this in our community call. We haven't really said what it is, but we do have on top of the Xi release and the 57 new markets, we have another big release coming, and I think the community here will like that one a lot. So
That's
I can't
awesome.
give anything else.
Awesome. I look forward to it. Let us know when it comes out. We'll see what we can do to give attention to it in the newsletter.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I would say, oh man, who can I nominate? I love, Alunara would be great. I
Olinar would be
like
great.
the
Yeah.
guys at Synthetics. Yeah.
Synthetics would be good too. Yeah. Okay. We'll see what we can do to hustle down some of them. Because definitely getting synthetics would be really cool. Alinara joined last 2 weeks ago or so, but yeah, not the best of microphones at the time, so it was like really faint. So hopefully we can get a kind of full Alinara.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, I believe the synthetics guys have some proposals and stuff they're talking about regarding synthetics and the volume there and a unique like atomic swap integration. So it would be interesting to hear them
Oh,
talk about
interesting.
that.
I hadn't seen that. What proposals are those?
I literally just saw it very briefly. It was like swamps or something. I have to find it in a curve document DAO thing,
Interesting. I'll have to take a look.
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And by the way, welcome AJ to the Llama Party. I saw that you joined. I don't know if you're joining as spectator or speaker, but everyone should. AJ waves, but doesn't say anything. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the Tether kind of shenanigans. So this is something that was interesting that was brought to my attention recently. DeFi Llama had posted kind of out of the blue saying like, look what's going on. Ever since the SBF stuff, we saw curve volumes just spike suddenly. And I dove into it, and it's not only real, but it's actually like a bit unexpected in terms of some of its consequences. So one of the things that was interesting is that for much of 2022, especially with like all the wild volatility in crypto, we'd seen like crypto pools being generally the highest amount of curve volume. But over about the past month and a half, this has actually like started reversing. and it's been a lot of activity in 3-pool, which has suddenly pushed it to like 75%. The volume going around on Curve has been stablecoin trading. So it's like V2 had flipping V1, and now V1 is reflipping V2. And then almost all this has been going through the 3-pool. So you can see the kind of gray bars there is Curve 3-pool, which is like now most of the trading activity on Curve, which is kind of crazy. Now, I think some of this has been like Fiddy pointed to like one single like whale address in particular, possibly going through 1inch. I can't quite tell, has been like driving the bulk of this activity, but it's actually like already like almost repegged, and in fact gone the other direction. So when I looked this morning, USDT was the minority share in the pool, which is sort of the opposite of the usually when there's a ton of FUD, it's imbalanced towards Tether, but now it's like imbalancing the other direction, which is kind of unusual. So anyway, just kind of really unusual activity in 3-pool. I don't know if anyone here has any thoughts on this or has any idea what's going on. Pop over to YouTube chat, see if they're mentioning anything. YouTube chat just mentioning that Silo added Aura as well, so. All right, doesn't sound like anyone has any strong opinions on 3-pool or Tether. It's kind of a shame. I was hoping we get some.
I might be speaking out of my ass, but I believe I've heard some people on Twitter say it had something to do with Justin's son, but
there we go.
Not 100%.
There we go. Of course, it's always the sun. Did you happen to see someone surfaced a fun video of Justin's son from like 10, 15 years ago dancing on Korean like pop TV competition?
Oh my god, no, but I would love to see it.
I have to see if I could dig that up afterwards. Let me make a note. It was funny because he was like the side dancer. So like someone was commenting that like, Justin Sun's always the side act, never the main act. So is this in any way related to because Justin Sun, I believe, has been pushing USDD on Huobi, and I might have this mistaken because of course like I can't access Huobi from here in the United States, but is like Justin Sun like trying to like drive a bunch of Tether volume in some way related to like some game he's playing with USDD?
Oh man, I'm really not sure. I'm not even sure if it's true. It's the ramblings of crypto Twitter, so you got a grain of salt.
It's amazing. It's like this madhouse where you don't know what's real and what's not. And you just get the absolute most like giga-brained, brilliant posts right alongside like the dumbest kind of like most gutter tier garbage. I just can't look away. It's so much fun.
Yeah. The gutter is where you find the best alpha too.
Absolutely. Like I don't know if Elon realizes what a gold mine is sitting there. It's sort of like this like back alley kind of dark side of Twitter. Do you know anything about Imstable and their meta vaults? This ERC 4626 implementation that's being done on top of Curve 3-pool?
I do not, but I'm familiar with their original stable pool, which was essentially didn't have a curve on it.
Yeah, it's something I'm not familiar with it myself either. I was hoping one of the guests could come on and educate me, but I'm gonna have to, I guess, do my own research sometime this weekend. Excellent. Any thoughts, you or anyone who wants to join about this interesting proposal, which Howie threw up in the Curve Governance Forum, basically trying to create or allow whoever created a pool to earn some share of the pool fees, kind of making Curve in ERC 20 DeFi a bit more like the ERC 721 NFT space. Because I was actually surprised. I had like very little understanding of the NFT space until like I got a bit involved with the NPC NFT project. At which point I got to kind of look around at some of the NFT services being built, and there's like a surprising amount of like interesting like DeFi light protocols that are being built out for NFTs. And one of these is that like there's a lot of places where you can just create simple liquidity pools between NFTs and like Ethereum. And it's like super commonplace in the NFT world for people to buy up a bunch of NFTs, create a liquidity pool between their NFT and Ethereum, and earn trading fees on it. So they actually have like incentive to outcompete other collections of NFTs. And you can end up with like 20, 30, 40 different like liquidity pools within NFT collections. So it's kind of interesting. But as Fiddy pointed out, I don't know if it like makes the most sense specifically for Curve. And with ERC20 tokens, like it's also doesn't quite make as much sense because all the tokens are fungible. So one NFT pool might be different from another NFT pool in that like it might have some with rare traits in it or something. But an ERC20 pool would always be kind of like in theory converge to the same like set of parameters as other pools. But where Fiddy thought of innovating on this formula, which I thought was interesting, was to create this concept of like a pool manager. Essentially, like maybe a smart contract address would be responsible for fine-tuning the parameters and optimizing and collecting fees that way, which I thought was a pretty cool idea and would also kind of serve to give incentive for like this longer tail of pools to get launched and earn fees. But then like maybe the flip side to this would be would any of these liquidity pools deliver substantial enough fees to actually be interesting? So I don't know if anyone in the call or in the comments has kind of thoughts or opinions on this, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I just have a comment on the NFT piece there and whether or not you can use it for sort of the ERC20. I mean, I have used a few of those pools, and like for me, it doesn't really make sense to use them for NFTs, but they're being used quite a lot, and the reason for that is because NFTs are not supposed to be fungible. They're supposed to look a certain way. You kind of like the T-shirt or something like that, and in those pools, if you have to choose the right kind of NFT that you want to put in there, because otherwise, if you choose an NFT that has sort of a trait that is a bit more rare, then given the non-fungible nature of them, they are going to sell for the same price almost, and that's like something that I've seen as kind of like an issue in the UX for those kind of pools. But so it makes kind of more sense to have like for fungible assets, at least in my opinion. But
Yeah, absolutely. It has been like fascinating because I'm sure you've been watching this phenomenon playing out. Because I see that you have a gorgeous profile picture there. So I'm sure that you've seen some of the activity playing out around the NPCers collection, and you're totally right. Like some of these pools, like get the. So one of the things that surprised me about the NPCers launch was that there was like all this mint activity really quickly, and people trying to kind of like what I now understand is their behavior makes sense in retrospect. They were trying to like mint all the random ones to see if they got one of those super rare traits. And then if they didn't get a super rare trait, then they would immediately dump it for below mint price. And that was the piece that was like so confusing to me. It's like, who would pay 0.008 ETH to mint and then immediately turn around and sell it for half that price? Like, that just is like, what are you doing? But it's all these kind of like common ones that don't have these rare traits that are getting dumped into a lot of these pools. So as a result, you'll see this interesting effect where like on OpenSea, the NFTs will be like maybe 20% higher floor price than the ones in some of these like pseudo swap pools, for example, which just generally contain the common ones because they're, I guess, more liquid or something. Oh, I think we lost Charlie Chaplino. That's a bummer because Charlie Chaplino is a
no, for sure. Completely agree. Yeah, we made a mistake. We sold one of the Peppers in the SudoSwap pool, I think.
oof.
Somehow it got in there. But yeah. Just a comment, just listening in, touristing around a little bit. So
That's good
that's it.
stuff. I hope you're able to make it for the Pack DAO call at 10. We're going to be talking about making a donation to Coalition DAO.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or sorry, that's at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And that one's not being broadcast live on YouTube, so you can feel free to like cuss, give financial advice, what have you. Good stuff. Good stuff. Any other comments or questions or thoughts on this subject of Howie's proposal for pool managers to earn some cash like the NFT world? If not, we could talk about cockfighting. Speaking of possibly filthy words. All right, time's up. Let's talk about chicken bonds, which has been so much fun to follow. So one of the things I didn't mention in the article I should have is that in addition to this kind of game of chicken that they have going on, one of the big reasons for it is that a big investor in chicken bonds is apparently Sifu. So Sifu might not be the current thing villain. Of course, we have to direct all of our attention and anger towards SBF. But Sifu is still kind of hated, and I think there's been this like issue going on with the chicken bonds, where if too many like Sifu might be able to profit off of people chickening out. So there's been like this game of chicken developing on top of it. Does anyone here has anyone actually been playing the chicken bonds game? Full disclosure, I do have a small stake in the BLUSD LUSD 3 curve chicken bonds pool. So I am currently earning that around 4% LUSD, and if they get this proposal through, I will be able to profit off of anything on top of that. Ooh, Diligent Deer is typing in the comments, which is good because Diligent Deer just wrote up an amazing, very in-depth review of it for the crypto risk Substack. And on top of it, if we get the chat going, we'll be able to get maybe clear out this creative artwork in the side column. So I hope Diligent Deer pens like a really long thing here. All right. Diligent Deer just comments that following the chicken bond game but hasn't participated in it. So I would encourage people to take a look through Diligent Deer's report on it. It was a really, really thoughtful report. And I wrote up also a piece on it a few weeks ago because it's not actually as difficult to understand as it sounds like. Like you hear bonds and you hear all this stuff and it's like you immediately kind of like are like, oh gosh, what's this? It's going to be like too complicated. But it really is like you buy this, you either chicken out, get your money back, or you just kind of wait and pull the trigger at a time that you think is going to like maximize your profits. And anyone who mistimes it slightly, I would argue that the kind of function of it is to, where's the yield come from is always a question. In my opinion, it's the people who are kind of mistiming it and like getting too little or pulling the trigger too early or too late. All the extra kind of delta from that accrues to the general pool, as well as the people who are chickening out and saying, I'm just going to take my money back. Well, they didn't even get like any yield off of it. So it's I think we're going to see a lot more stuff built on top of chicken bonds. And we do have this comment section is popping here. Donnie Soldier, also like Diligent Deer, doesn't have any experience. AJ, who's listening in but not actually only typing, says only on the simulated DeFi saver section. Looks like the break-even point's about 30 days approximately. And CB here, Chicken Bonds, not Coinbase, wants people to get out of bonds in under 30 days. So game of chicken, it sounds like, between chicken bonds and their users. So I noticed, Diligent Deer, you didn't actually give a recommendation in the crypto risks article you wrote up. You cited some risk factors, but you didn't comment on if you think the gauge should be passed or not. I'm curious if you have opinion as to like whether Curve should approve this gauge or whether we should let it slide perhaps while we see what goes on with the subject. We'll see Diligent Deer's typing as diligently as always, but just leafing through the article here, just really good stuff. You can, of course, count on Diligent Deer to be diligent about all these things. Naga King points out it's hard to type with hooves. All right, well, we'll go ahead and move on to the next subject unless anyone, doesn't seem like anyone has any comments. Did anyone notice that Aave looks like they've unfrozen Curve for supplying, but not for shorting? So I don't know if anyone's been following that, but it looks like Curve is finally kind of pushing its way through. I don't know if that's because it's migrated officially to Aave v3 or not. But yeah, there was a tense 1 week where people couldn't short curve, and of course the price went down anyway. Is anyone following the ins and outs of this? Because at the same time, it looks like Abracadabra might be trying to swipe some market share by launching their own curve cauldron in the meantime. Oh, AJ asks if I've been monitoring my BLUSD position. No, I'm like the bottom 2% of investors. So I ape into these pools, and then like a month afterwards, I look at it and realize like, ah, shoot, I lost a lot of money or something. Better get out. Diligent Deer comments that Diligent Deer had an informal conversation with Wormhole Oracle, and in his opinion, it's going to get passed as far as he knows. So maybe it doesn't matter if you issue a recommendation or not. There's going to be some. Looks like it's gonna go through. So good stuff there. All right, this is one that I am very interested to hear Bigger Brain takes on. Conic Finance has all this stuff planned throughout November for the launch, throughout December for the launch of their Omni pools. And someone I'm familiar with who's been following the space for a long time has been laughing out loud every time I've talked about Conic Finance, because in their opinion, every time there's like any attempt at single-sided liquidity, it always ends up with LPs losing a lot of money. So they're just absolutely convinced that Conic Finance is going to like implode. People are going to get burned. It's not possible. But at the same time, like I've noticed, like some big brains at Curve seem to be like tacitly or like not so tacitly supporting and kind of like promoting Conic Finance. So what do we think here? Is Conic Finance going to like implode in hilarious fashion and wreck a lot of people, or are they onto something with their like concept of omni pools, and have they solved this single-sided staking question? So Donnie's pointing to the white paper. I'll go ahead and bring that up in case people are not familiar with the white paper. Their take on it is essentially they're going to have like I might be butchering this, so please chime in and let me know if I'm getting this wrong. My understanding of it is that their DAO essentially decides which of these tokens gets invested into like which particular pool. So it might be the case that like if Conic decides that USDD is good yields, then it takes all the dollars invested into Conic and deploys them into the USDD pool and like auto compounds the yield and gets the best yield you can get off of it. And then if their DAO decides USDD is not like the right place to be, then they'll shift it, maybe put it in the like Silo Finance Xi pool if that seems to be yielding better. I might be completely wrong about this, so as long-time people know I'm like the dumbest person around, but I only accrue knowledge by being super wrong about things. So let me know if I got that completely wrong. And hey, that's pretty accurate. Okay, so stopped clock got right on this one. There's this like, I mean, it sounds like that could work, but then the problem is going to be that it's like a game of hot potato. It might just be the case that they're in one of these higher yielding pools, like let's say they're in USDN pool, USDN collapses, and it's all the bag holders who end up getting bit. So it's like maybe they're able to get good yield, but eventually one of these does get caught. On the other hand, like that's really no different than doing it yourself, and perhaps like having a team monitoring it could be a bit safer. So it sounds intriguing. Like I missed out on the Conic Finance airdrop, so I'm not just saying that like trying to promote my bags or something like that. Like it does sound interesting, and I like losing money, so I'll go ahead and toss some money in just to see what happens. I don't know what other people are thinking about it, though. All right. No comments. Ooh, I have some comments on YouTube I need to censor. So, and good news for people looking for new dating apps for all tastes and ages. But I don't think anyone needs to read that. All right. CNC already has a 21 million market cap, Donnie Soldier points out. Diligent Deer says, keep spreading the financial advice. Sorry, none of that here. No financial advice. Follow me if you would like to get wrecked. And Charlie Chaplino's looking for a good dating app. So if you have dating app recommendations, like no one has brought dating to crypto, probably because it's like 10 people in crypto and they're like maybe 80-20 dude to not dude ratio. And we don't know what percent of those are e-girls. So we already talked about Silo, so we've covered pretty much everything that I found in the article. Although it looks like Charlie's still going on date to earn. Nice. Does IR Curve Risk team need to allow pool creations after running their assessment? If proposal passes, then no risk assessment at all. So it's currently, and Diligent Deer, I'm sure could comment much more on this. But the crypto risk team is like, it's decentralized. It's not officially a part of Curve, even though it does have like some funding from Curve to make it happen. It is an independent entity, and its advice is only heeded because it's cultivated such a great reputation. That is to say, it's entirely possible that you could get Curve gauge approval without Crypto Risk's team ever weighing in. I think that actually has happened where some of the pools just went through. But very frequently, Crypto Risk's team will write these like really good reports, and because people want to weigh in and wait for them to weigh in and see what it comes out as, it just ends up that like there have been some cases where like people tried to force a gauge vote through. Crypto Risk's team said, "Hey, we advise that you vote no on this because we haven't got a chance to review it," and the community did take that and vote no on it. And then Crypto Risk's team looked at it, said, "Hey, this is great," and then it went through and passed again. So yeah, Naga King points out it's not a requirement. It just gives advice, and it's, really, really good advice. So if there's anyone listening to this, like trying to figure out how you can like make it in DeFi, I would strongly recommend just talking to the Crypto Risks team and seeing if they have any articles that they need help researching and writing, because it's so much fun to like. There's like so many millions of protocols here in DeFi that it's like, it's absurd how easy it is to become the expert on any given one of them just by like diving in and doing your own research. And you can very quickly become the expert on these things. So here's the Crypto Risks Assessment blog, and they read a bunch of big brain stuff, and they read my Substack, so that's great to see. And oh yeah, it didn't. I don't know that I got this out, but they wrote the crypto risks assessment on things including Paladin and including Silo Finance. So maybe Tencent, who is from Silo Finance, had a shot to kind of read through and comment. Tencent, feel free to issue a rebuttal if you think that Crypto Risks team butchered Silo Finance in their TLDR.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. What did? I didn't think the crypto risk teams butchered us. Where do you see it? Where do you say that?
Oh, I'm just saying, if you disagree with anything in the report, this is a good time to speak up. I think they did a good job. I think they're always really good, but I don't want to speak for you.
I think they did an amazing job. I mean, they spoke with us in depth, and that we made sure that they knew how everything worked, and we didn't want them to leave any risks out, right? So, we're very grateful to them, and we think they're a great team. So I don't have any problem with the crypto
Nice.
risk team.
Yeah, although Midas thought ETH is a good idea. Let's replace the crypto risks team with the Chat GPT. I kind of like it. I actually think that someone should do a GPT auditor. Because why not? Like, auditors miss a lot of stuff anyway. So an auditor is only so good. Why not, like, I think someone needs to come out with a GPT-based auditor, which you could do in addition to, like, the professional auditors. So maybe you pay the pros 6 figures, and then maybe you get your own GPT auditor and pay it, like, 5K for an official, like, GPT report. Maybe it'll find something. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to people... because there's going to be a wave of this. As the GPT gets good, there's going to be a huge wave of contracts getting launched by people who don't understand it, and they get hacked within, like, the first few, like, deposits. I'm really excited to see it happen, because it's going to be kind of wild. I'm not going to do the hacking. Don't worry, feds. I'm clean. I'm just going to watch the hacking and laugh. Excellent. All right. DOS attacks on individual proposal to create new pools. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get denial of service attacks. I think that so I think it's really tough for the crypto risks team to actually get it into a scalable model. Because the ambition of it is that it can actually become this kind of decentralized, like let's say decentralized team of analysts, and I think they could do it because it's really smart people on the team that are making it happen. That being said, it's like really tough because you kind of have to manage this like supply demand. I think they'll figure it out. I think that you're going to get to this kind of bounty board where people are like, we really want to get our crypto risks report through fast. So they're going to like essentially bribe the crypto risks team to appoint an analyst to get the like report written faster. And as a result, you're probably going to see a sustainable business model emerge out of it. And I think that just means that great news for all of us who like reading this stuff in crypto, because you're going to see a lot of cool reports. All right. I think the party may be winding down. I don't know what you all think. This has been a fun one. We've had dating advice, including some apps if you were following the YouTube comments. As usual, more people listening in Discord than listening on YouTube. Although I think a lot of people, the time zone doesn't work, so the YouTube views end up coming back as people go back and like listen to it. Any questions we didn't get to? Because I'm more than happy to go eat some breakfast if this is winding down. All right, friends, thank you. Really appreciate you all joining. Particular anyone who was brave enough to step in. Tenzin, appreciate you getting a chance to chat with us about Silo. Charlie, thanks for telling us a bit about the origin of your gorgeous profile picture. All right, friends, I will catch you all later.
Yeah.
Take
thank
care.
you, man.
Bye.
Have a good one.